I bet you never realized I invented rap. I grew up in a family filled with colorful characters. No more colorful than my mother's brother, my Uncle Yoel.
So I want to tell you the story about my Uncle Yoel. It's a funny name, Yoel, isn't it? It's not Julius, it's not Joel. No, Yoel. It's a perfect... If you walked in here right now and you didn't know who he was, and I say, what do you think his name is? You would say Yoel. He was the dumbest man that ever lived. He didn't care about anything, never read a book, didn't care about anything. But everybody had an Uncle Yoel. Let me do him for you. My Uncle Yoel always looked like he just came out of the men's room. The fly was always unbuttoned. Toilet paper stuck to the heel. Sure. I used to walk there. My Aunt Sarah used to say, yeah! He knew right away that the fly was on. It was like a pickoff play at second base. Yeah! He went right there. The minute he'd come to my mother's house on Sunday, the minute he sat in the chair, he'd fall asleep. And then he would break wind and wake himself up. Always blamed it on the dog, that verstunkene Hund. My father hated his guts because he was dumb. He didn't know anything. My father would speak. My father would make speeches. My mother would say, no fights, Bernie. My father said, what do you mean, no fights? Man don't know nothing. Talk about the proletariat, the working man, the dignity of the human being. Uncle Yoel had one expression. He wanted to show that he was a real Yankee Doodle Dandy. He used to say, no shit. That's all he ever said, no shit. We used to call him No Shit Yoel. That's all we ever heard him say. We'd play in the hall. I'd be listening to the keel. What'd he do? Uncle Yoel just said, no shit. Pop's going for his throat, right? My Uncle Yoel died. He was 104. Or 105. Who the hell knows how old they were from the old country, you know. I was in London making a film, and I get a call from my brother Eddie. Uncle Yoel died. Well, I was saddened by his death, but I wasn't about to get on a plane and go to the funeral the next morning, because you may know that in the Jewish religion, we bury our dead before the next sunset, which is civilized, you know. I mean, what's the sense of keeping them around? They ain't gonna get no better, you know. If anything, they start to stink. I called my mother in Florida to offer my condolence. She's crying, you know, my mother cries. I said, Ma, you gotta understand, 104, he lived a good life. Can't tell a sister that he lived a good life. Crying, I can't deal with it. I get my father on the phone. I said, what's going on? Mom's really broken up. He says, no, she's not going to the funeral. I said, what do you mean she's not going to the funeral? He said, well, she heard about the children, the ceremony. I don't know about your family, but in my family, whether it was good times or bad times, nobody got along. Everybody was fighting. There was so much hate. Maybe that was love, I don't know. If it was a wedding, I'm not sitting at a table with that son of a bitch. He owes me money since 1934. I hope he has a stroke on the cocktails. And if it was a funeral, I'm not sitting in the 8th car. I should be in the 1st car instead of his wife, that whore. I said, what's going on? He said, they're not going to have a rabbi at the funeral and Mom won't go. If you think my Uncle Yoel was an idiot, you should have seen the kids he had. My wife gets on the phone. My wife knows how to deal with my mother. She says, Ma, don't worry about a thing. She says, you pack your bag and you go to the funeral in New York. Alan is going to straighten it all out. What am I going to say? I don't give a goddamn how they bury him. Give him a Chicago funeral, throw him out of a moving car. What do you want from me? I'm not going to New York. She says, it's for your mother. It's always for your mother, the guilt. I called my brothers on the phone. I said, get a rabbi. I'm coming in tomorrow morning on British Air, 7:30. I want the rabbi at the airport. There'll be a rabbi at Uncle Yoel's funeral. It's for Mom. I've been drinking on a plane all night. I get off the plane. 2 of my brothers are there. Where's the rabbi? They said, the young man over there. Young man? He was 12. He was that big with a dark blue double-breasted with Nike sneakers and a cannon hat he had on. So where the hell did you find him? They said the last minute. What do you mean the last minute? A rabbi's got to look like a rabbi. Mom's not going to believe that's a rabbi. What's his name? He said Chuck. Chuck? Rabbi Chuck! I said, get in the car. We go to Riverside Memorial Chapel. I explained the family situation. Mr. King, what kind of service would you like? I said, an Orthodox service. It's for my mother. He said, Mr. King, will you deliver the eulogy? No, you do the whole thing, but do it fast. I want to get the hell out of here. I got to go back to London. What my Uncle Earl couldn't do in 104 years, the rabbi decided to do for him in an hour. He was going to make him great. Abe Lincoln didn't get a funeral service like my Uncle Earl. And the rabbi didn't even know him. He never even saw him. It could have been a cocker spaniel laying in a box that was closed. Ashes to ashes and dust to dust. A man is born, and he lives, and then he dies. And everyone says, make it fast, Rabbi. Is there no time for a tear? Is there no time to mourn? Is there no time to reflect? A man lived, and now he's dead. A student of the Talmud. A son of the Torah. A man who asked the big questions, how and why and where and when and how. My father stood up and said, no shit. My father waited 60 years for that one moment. It was the funniest funeral I ever went to in my life. They carried me out with my Uncle Earl. I was on the floor. I said, you hear what Pop said? He said, no shit. He didn't.
As a young man, I always enjoyed appearing in Montreal. As an old man, I was invited back to the Montreal Comedy Festival.
65 is not a pleasant time of your life. I worked all my life just, I could afford to do anything. I could afford to eat anything. Now I can't. I'm not allowed to do anything, not to eat anything. I can't have no salt, no sugar, no coffee, no decaf, no red meat, no smoked meat, no fried foods, no eggs, no dairy products, fiber and bran. That's it. I walk in a restaurant, I just look at the menu. My wife says, no. I'll eat the goddamn menu. Is cardboard in my mouth? Can I have some cardboard? I'll eat the cardboard. Bran and fiber. Horses eat bran and fiber. It's a fraud. Doctors don't know what to do about AIDS. They don't know what to do about cancer. They don't have any idea about heart disease. So they scare the hell out of you with cholesterol. Everything is cholesterol now. What is your cholesterol count? None of your goddamn business. But I'm sure it's higher than your IQ. Everybody wants to live forever. Did you ever see your country, my country? Idiots! 5:30 in the morning, they schmucks with the sneakers. Everybody's running. Where's everybody running? 5:30 in the morning. Nobody's chasing you. Punks, sleep. Do you know how many people Jane Fonda killed with her cassette? Did you ever watch they have these beautiful girls in back of Jane? Here we go with the thing and thing. Primo, well, they never show you the fat-ass women at home watching. I'm talking about cardiac arrest. Husbands rushing in, mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. First time he's had his tongue in that woman's mouth in years. My father, Oliver Shuller, he died 5 years ago. He was 96. The man never owned a pair of sneakers. The man could eat a car. The man took naps before he went to sleep. Man smoked 15 cigars a day. He never coughed. He drank a bottle of whiskey. I never saw him drunk. Man used to get up at 5:30 in the morning to start the stoves in the old days. And he'd go right, he didn't have no brand with vitamins. No, he'd go right to the cupboard, he'd get a water glass, he'd give it a little. That's how he got his heart started every morning. They're living in Miami. My father's about 90, and my mother calls me, she said, talk to your father, he should have a little brand. I said, Ma, really, if there's anything that my father didn't need in his diet was bran. When we were kids,